Good Sunday morning, Facebook and YouTube. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy with TFG Sports Media, and we are talking NFL Week 18. It is the last week in the NFL regular season. And guess what? I missed you. I haven't seen you guys since last year. Again, this is the first show of the new year. I hope you are having a great start to your 2025, and it's actually going to be a little chilly here in the next couple of days across the U.S. I'm in Texas. It's going to get a little cold. It ain't going to get too crazy, but it's definitely going to get cold. Again, I hope you all are having a great start to your 2025. You know the rules at Club Kendrick right here on TFG Sports Media on YouTube and Facebook. You got to come in, got to like this live stream. You got to share it to your social media platforms, and certainly you got to join the conversation. Make sure you jump in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm also live on TikTok at the same time. I got quite a few people over here in the chat already and on TikTok. Want to thank them for joining as well. As you can see, you already know, I'm going to get this out the way. Let me get this out the way real quick. You can already see it on TikTok. You know who I'm rooting for. You know who my team is. I'm a Packers fan. Pack Nation, I see you. Jones Installation out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, it's always a great day to be what? A Packers fan. So let's go ahead and get that out the way. We got the Bears today. I ain't really that excited about it. We're at the 7th seed in the playoffs. We really can't move up too much. We might could get the 6th seed, but again, we're going to be on the road next weekend. It looks like it most likely is going to be Philly. It's probably where the Packers will be going. Justin, go Pack, go baby. That's right. But again, I'm right here. Make sure on YouTube and Facebook, make sure you like it. Make sure you share this. Make sure you comment. Let me know where you're watching from. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Let's talk about the 2 NFL games we had on last night. Gonna need the Wisconsin DNR. I see you, Justin. Let's talk about the AFC North Division. They had 2 games on Saturday night. Let's start off with the Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens was looking to win the AFC North with a victory. They was playing the Browns, and they did. They took care of business, 35-10. Wasn't even that much of a game. So the Browns end their season at 3-14. The Ravens, they ended up 12-5, and they secured the number 3 seed in the AFC. So most likely the Ravens will face either the LA Chargers or the Steelers at home. It just depends on what the Chargers do as well. So again, it looks like the Ravens are going to face either the Chargers or the Steelers at home. And oh, by the way, who's winning, Minnesota or Detroit? I'm going to get to that, Smitty. I hadn't made my pick yet. We're going to talk about that. That's the big game today. So we're going to talk about that. But Lamar Jackson, who's probably, I ain't going to say probably, he's definitely one of the MVP candidates. He had a solid game, but he also finished the season doing something that no quarterback has ever done. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to pass for over 4,000 yards, rush for at least 800 yards. He's also one of the first quarterbacks that throw for 41 touchdowns and for over 4,000 yards and only throw 4 interceptions. He had 915 yards rushing. So that's definitely MVP credentials. Now, again, I think he's the favorite. I think he should win it. That's my personal choice. But I think, again, you can throw Josh Allen in this conversation as well. I think you can throw Eagles running back Saquon Barkley in this conversation as well. So Joe Shiesty should be considered for MVP, even though his defense lost him all those games. And, a lot of people have said that about Joe Burrow, and he's had a hell of a season too. He has, and I agree. And speaking of Cincinnati, they still got an outside shot of getting in the playoffs. They took care of business on last night, defeating the Steelers 19-17, but they need help. They need the Broncos to lose. Sam Darnold MVP. Nah, I don't see him as MVP. I see him as comeback player of the year. I do see that. I think he's had a hell of a resurgence in Minnesota. But I definitely see him as the NFL comeback player of the year. Most improved player, too. He probably could win both of those, in my opinion. KC isn't beating Denver with their backups. I agree, Jason. I don't think so either. But the AFC North, again, the Ravens win the division for the second year in a row, but they do have a concern. Their wide receiver, Zay Flowers, went out in the second quarter with the right knee injury. Don't know the severity of that injury. They're going to do MRI today, so that'll be one less weapon that may not be at Lamar Jackson's disposal come next weekend. And also, speaking of the Ravens, Derrick Henry, he could be a comeback player of the year candidate as well. He rushed for 1,921 yards and had 16 touchdowns on the ground too. So those two guys, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, are definitely a formidable duo right now. Denver looked good against the Bengals. That's what Jimbo says. If Cincinnati gets in, they'll be dangerous in the playoffs. I can agree with that, Smitty, because they've won 5 in a row. They hadn't lost since I think they lost to the Steelers early December. They've won 5 games in a row. If you think about if they wouldn't have had that rough patch at the beginning of the season, where I think they started off 0-2, then they was like 4-8, they probably would be sitting in. They wouldn't even be worried about getting in the playoffs at this point. The Bengals would be in there, and the whole AFC, you would have probably three teams in the AFC North in the playoffs, just like you have 3 teams in the NFC North that's in the playoffs as well. So we'll see what happens. Now, again, AFC North right now looks like, again, the Ravens are definitely probably the team to beat. The Steelers are kind of limping right now. They've lost I think 4 in a row. They're not playing that great. Offensively, Russell Wilson is he's average. NFC North, stand up. That's right, Trevor. Steelers. If I'm a Steelers fan, I would probably have to be worried somewhat about the way they've limped into the playoffs. Now, again, once you get in there, anything can happen. But the Steelers have not looked impressive the last couple of weeks. So again, I think if you look at we're going to talk about the playoff picture here in just a second too. You look at the way it's looking, it looks like the Steelers may end up going either to Baltimore or either Houston. So that's where the Steelers are. Then you're going to probably hear talk about people, Mike Tomlin is this and that and this and that. Well, all I know is every team, since he's been the head coach of Pittsburgh, they've made the playoffs. So I mean, that does mean something. And then, the Steelers organization, the Rooney family, they don't believe in turnover at the head coaching position. So, but again, I think the Steelers, if I'm a Steelers fan, I would have to be concerned with the way they've played, especially offensively, the last couple of weeks. Now, let's talk about Sunday's games. Let's talk about the games that's coming up today. I'm not really that interested in looking at a lot of these games, but there's still some playoff positioning that can be had. You got the Panthers at the Falcons. That NFC South division is still up for grabs between Atlanta and Tampa Bay. So you still got some drama going there. Again, we got the Bears at the Packers. I'm gonna peek in on it, but again, we're sitting at the 7th spot. Most likely, that's where we're gonna stay. You got the Giants at the Eagles. I don't know if you know, Saquon Barkley is not playing in that game. He only needed 101 yards to break Eric Dickerson's 40-year-old record of 2,105 yards, but he's not playing. Starters are sitting out, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't play. I mean, it is what it is. Jason M says there are some teams that would love to have a perennial 9-10 win coach. Looking at Chicago, you're right, Jason. We're gonna talk about coaches on the hot seat, or who we think are on the hot seat too, in another segment. Green Bay is the toilet bowl of the NFC next to the bed. Man, Josh Smiley, get out my chat. Josh Smidley, get out my chat, man. Talking about we the toilet bowl. Get out of here with that crap, man. We not gonna have no Packers disrespect on my TikTok chat. I don't know who's your team, but who you root for, Josh? By the way, Smidley. Anyway, got a dude over here in the chat talking noise about our Packers. But again, we got a lot of the noon games that's coming up. But we're not going to even mention those. Again, like I said, you got Atlanta and Tampa Bay. They still got something to play for, because that division is still up for grabs right there. But the big game tonight is the game that everybody really is going to be talking about, and that is the Vikings at the Lions. And that is for all the marbles. Whoever wins that game will have the number 1 seed in the NFC. Whoever loses that game will be the 5 seed. And we'll probably be on the road at either Tampa Bay or Atlanta or somewhere. Smitty says, what's your thoughts on Chicago not being a consistent team as far as front office management? My thoughts on Chicago, they brought in Ryan Poles to kind of steady the ship. I just think they've pulled the plug on these rookie quarterbacks, and I think they haven't set them up for success. Especially with their head coaching hires. I think they've missed the mark with their head coaches. That's my opinion on Chicago. Iceberg says, does Atlanta struggle today? I don't think they struggle. I think the Panthers are going to give them going to make it hard for them though, because the Panthers have played they played a little bit better here the last couple of weeks. Bryce Young has looked a little bit better. So I think it'll be a struggle off the top, but I think the Falcons they'll win that game, and I'm gonna give my picks on that too as well. Jonathan asked thoughts on the Texans. That's another team that's kind of limping into the playoffs. I think they've had some injuries. That offensive line has been suspect. CJ Stroud has taken a lot of hits, man, and that's not a good thing. I think they need to lean more on that running game with Joe Mixon. I think they need to lean, especially now, with their receiver position being out of whack. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is gone. I just think they got to lean on that defense a little bit more. But again, the Texans are a little bit vulnerable right now. I just think that they hadn't played well. But I think if they can get that run game back on track, I think they'll be fine. Now, who will they host? I think it's either going to be the Steelers or the Chargers possibly coming to Houston. So we're going to see. Alan Wallace says, I got a feeling Packers finna lose today. If we lose, I ain't tripping. I mean, I'm concerned about the playoffs. It's the Bears. Yeah, that's a big rivalry. But I'm not really concerned if we lose today. I don't think we should play our starters the whole game either. Rams winning against Commanders. I think so. No, the Commanders actually play the Cowboys. Oh, you talking about in the playoffs, if that's the case. I think the Commanders will beat the Rams. I think the Commanders are one of those teams that's sneaky good, especially that rookie quarterback they got. They sneaky good. So we'll see what happens. But again, we got a lot, like I say, the noon game windows, the only division that somewhat still got some things to be answered. Obviously, the NFC North, the Lions and the Vikings. And then you got the NFC South. Now, speaking of the Lions and the Vikings, as much as it pains me to say this, both of those teams are playing some hell of a football. I have to admit it. The Lions are a little bit banged up, though. They should be I'm concerned about their health. I think they're a little bit banged up. As far as the Vikings, Sam Darnold, what can you say about him, man? Somebody said that should he be an MVP candidate up in the chat on TikTok. I don't know if he's an MVP candidate, but I damn sure know he's probably the comeback player of the year or the most improved. He might win both of those. I think he legitimately should win both of those. He's definitely put this team and steadied this team. What can you say? Obviously, Justin Jefferson he's going to do his thing. The defense has played solid with Brian Flores, defensive coordinator. So the Vikings are one of those, they're a damn good team as well as the Lions. I just think the Lions are a little bit banged up right now. And if I had to pick a winner in this, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move to my NFL picks in week 18, the last regular season. The last week of the regular season, I'm going to go ahead and give my pick 6. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's move to that segment. Last week, by the way, I was 5-1 with my pick 6. I picked the only game that I missed. What game did I miss last week? I missed the Colts and the Giants. The Giants surprised me, and they beat the hell out of the Colts. But the Colts didn't have Anthony Richardson either, their starting quarterback. But here are my Week 18 pick 6 games. Again, not much to choose from, but we're gonna start with the Panthers 4-12 at the Falcons 8-8, the Saints 5-11 at the Buccaneers 9-7. They still playing to win that NFC South. We got the Chiefs 15-1 at the Broncos 9-7. That's a big game. Broncos win, and they are in the playoffs. The Chiefs aren't playing their starters. The Seahawks 9-7 at the LA Rams 10-6. The Rams have already clinched the NFC West. They're kind of jockeying for playoff seeding now. The Commanders 11-5 at the Cowboys 7-9. The Commanders are pretty much locked in where they are. And the Vikings 14-2 at the Lions 14-2 for the NFC North division title, as well as the number 1 seed in the NFC. So Panthers at Falcons, I'm going with Atlanta. I think the young quarterback Michael Penix Jr. is going to stay hot. I think they're going to beat the Panthers 28-10. As far as the Saints at the Buccaneers, I think the Buccaneers going to put the Saints out of their misery for the season. I'm going Buccaneers 30-13. I'm going Chiefs 15-1 at the Broncos 9-7. I'm going with the Broncos just because the Chiefs aren't playing any of their starters. So the Broncos will get the win, I think, 23-10. The Seahawks 9-7 at the LA Rams 10-6. I'm going with the Seahawks 24-14. I think the Rams really don't need to win this game. They may not even play their starters that much. So I think the Seahawks will win. The Detroit Lion fan has already made his prediction. Lions will win 35-28. Okay, got you. Commanders 11-5 at the Cowboys, big NFC East rivalry. Who cares about this game today? Matter of fact, I saw some video footage of a former colleague of mine that works at WFAA and at Channel 8 at Dallas. He's a sports photojournalist, Arnold Payne, who's been in the business 40 plus years. He's a bad man behind that camera. He was driving to the stadium for the noon kickoff, and he posted on his Facebook, and the AT&T Stadium normally is packed with tailgaters. It was pretty much completely empty. This was roughly 2 hours ago. So there you got that show you this game probably ain't gonna have a lot of people there. But again, Commanders at the Cowboys. I picked the Commanders to win this 23-17. And I just got an alert for our Cowboy fans. Trey Lance will start today at quarterback. Makes sense. You probably wanted to see what he got, and this is going to be a rehearsal or whatever you want to call it for other teams to see if they want to take a chance on him. Jack Jasinski says Vikings Lions. I'm getting to that one. I'm at the Vikings Lions. Vikings 14-2 at the Lions 14-2. The winner of this game wins the NFC North, and they get that number 1 seed in the NFC with a first round bye and home playoff through the playoffs, get home field advantage. I think this is going to be a tough game, man. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Lions going to sneak this one out. I picked the Lions to win 27-21. I think it's going to be a great game. Again, that is the Sunday night game on NBC. So those are my Week 18, my last Week 18 pick 6 of the NFL regular season. Again, I ended up my regular season 66-36 in picks, and I was 5-1 last week. So we'll see what happens today with my picks, see if I can keep that going. Now, let's get to some NFL news and notes from around the league. I had said earlier that Eagles running back Saquon Barkley is not going to play versus the Giants today. Matt says, I thought you were talking about Green Bay at first. Oh, okay. All right, Matt. Thanks for following me too, Matt. I appreciate that, hitting that follow button. Gregory Taylor, thanks for dropping in. Again, if you didn't know, Eagles running back Saquon Barkley will not play today. So that record that's held by the Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson, most rushing yards in a single season, will stand. It will continue. It's 40 years old now. He set that record in 1984. So other news and notes from around the league. The Jets are looking for a new head coach, just like the Saints, just like the Bears. Well, they've already interviewed one candidate, former Tennessee Titan head coach Mike Vrabel. He's interviewed for the New York Jets head coaching position. I think he interviewed Saturday, and it's also being reported that ESPN NFL analyst Rex Ryan will interview for the Jets head coach position as well on Tuesday. He formerly coached the Jets. As a matter of fact, he was the coach the last time the Jets made it to the AFC Championship game. They made it 2 years in a row. And if you want to know who was the quarterback, if you know, put it in the chat. Who was the quarterback of the Jets the last time they made it to the AFC Championship? I'd like to know if you know that. Put your answer in the comments in the chat or also in the comment section over here on YouTube and Facebook. Right now, I was taking a look to see what the NFL draft status or draft order will look like as of right now. And right now, it looks like I believe Jacksonville holds the first pick in the draft. That could, my God, Jonathan Estrada. You're right. You got it. Kudos to you, my man. It was Mark Sanchez. If you didn't know, Jonathan Estrada, 1996, over on TikTok. He got it right. Mark Sanchez was the quarterback of the Jets the last time they made it to the AFC Championship game. So thanks for answering that. You pretty good there, Jonathan. You didn't use Google, did you? Did you Google it? Yeah, I hope. Speaking of my Packers, Romeo Doubs is inactive. He won't play versus the Bears. I just got that alert as well. So my Packers fans, Romeo Doubs will not play today versus the Bears due to an illness. I'm cool with that. This game doesn't really mean much for us anyway. We locked into the number 7 position. Actually, the Patriots would have the number 1 pick in the draft right now. As of right now, it would be the Patriots. And the Bears would be number 9, by the way, if you want to know. Bears fans, the Saints would be number 10. The 49ers would have the 11th pick. The Colts would have the 12th pick. Cowboys would have the 13th pick as well. So I was kind of looking at just to see, it has been a while, Jonathan, just kind of see what the NFL draft looked like. So those are just a couple of NFL news and notes, again, from around the league. So now let's talk about the playoff picture. It's kind of pretty much, it's in focus now. Pretty much, we know what's happening. Pretty much, especially in the AFC, the top 4 seeds are pretty much locked and loaded. As far as in the AFC, again, Chiefs have got number 1 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Bills are the 2 seed; they locked in at 2. The Ravens are locked in at 3 with that win last night. The Texans are locked in at 4. Now, the Chargers are sitting at the 5th seed. With the win, they will keep the 5th seed. With a loss, they would drop to the 6th seed today. So the Chargers, they would stay locked in the 5th seed with a win today. Now, the Steelers are the 6th seed. Now, with a Chargers win, the Steelers would stay the 6th seed if the Chargers win. So the Steelers can't really, or they could, with the Chargers loss, the Steelers could move up to the 5th seed. So that's kind of where we are with that. The Broncos, they win, they in. That's it. That's all they need at the 7th seed. The Broncos win, they in. Now the Cincinnati Bengals, they need some help to get in. They could technically get in. The Broncos, the Bengals could get in with a Broncos loss, and I believe a Dolphins loss as well. That's how the Bengals could get in. So they need some help. I was reading what Joe Burrow said. He was going to be at the team facility this morning lifting weights, but also keeping an eye on some of these games. So that is the AFC playoff picture right there. Again, the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, and Texans are all locked in at the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds. There still could be some shuffling with the 5th, 6th, and 7th seed in the AFC. Now, the NFC, again, right now the Lions are the number 1 seed. But if they will be, if they clinch with a win over the Vikings. If they lose to the Vikings, that would drop them all the way down to the 5th seed. The Eagles are locked in at the 2nd seed. The Rams are 3 seed right now. The Buccaneers are 4th seed. They have a 1-game lead over in the NFC South over the Falcons. That could change, though, if the Falcons win and the Bucs lost. So there could be some changes at the 4th seed. The Vikings could right now is the 5th seed. That's before the Sunday night game. We don't know. That could change again. That could flip-flop. If the Vikings win, they will go to the 1 seed. The Lions will drop to the 5th seed. And the Commanders, they're locked in pretty much at the 6th seed, and the Packers are locked in at the 7th seed again. Now, the Falcons will win the NFC South with the win over the Panthers and a Bucs loss to the Saints. So that is the playoff picture. Got a little bit of shuffling that can happen with some seeding. So that's why a couple of these games in the noon window are important. So now let's talk about one real quick topic, and we're going to get out of here. It's going to be Black Monday tomorrow. That's what they call, in the NFL. the Monday after the regular season ends is called Black Monday because coaches get their pink slips. And there's a couple of coaches that's probably on the hot seat. But we do know that these teams have openings. The New Orleans Saints, the Chicago Bears, and the New York Jets. Again, I just told you earlier, the Jets have already interviewed former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel. They're going to interview Rex Ryan on Tuesday. As far as the Saints, they fired Dennis Smith a few months back. They got their interim guy right now. And the Bears fired Matt Eberflus a couple of weeks ago. They're looking for a coach. So we all know that those teams are looking for some head coaches. But what coaches would you say are on the hot seat right now? If I had to choose one, I would have to go with Doug Peterson with the Jags. I think he's on the hot seat. I think they may look to go in a different direction. I think the Giants' Brian Daboll is on the hot seat in New York. But they got quarterback issues. They may give him another year because they just don't, they cut their quarterback that was supposed to be the future a few weeks. Well, he asked to be released, and they released him. Daniel Jones. Cowboys Mike McCarthy. His contract actually expires, I want to say, on Wednesday. Will he be back in Dallas? Some people say they think he will. It's 50-50. I don't know. We'll see. What about the Cleveland Browns' Kevin Stefanski? Is he on the hot seat? Don't know. But I do know they fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, today. The Browns' offense was pedestrian. I think in 3 categories: yards per game, points per game. They were like next to last in the league. And then they were last in the league in touchdowns scored with only 27. So the Browns did fire offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey on today. So is he on the hot seat, Kevin Stefanski? I don't know. Some people would say. Some saying that Antonio Pierce for the Raiders could be on the hot seat. I hope not. I don't think he is. I just, they got quarterback issues with the Raiders too. So I don't think he is. And then I read a report some people saying Patriots head coach Gerard Mayo is on the hot seat. And I would say I don't think so. I don't think he is. I think, again, you got a rookie quarterback now, Drake May, who's actually looked like he has some potential. I think they're not going to pull the plug on Gerard Mayo just yet. But, again, there is going to be some coaches probably getting the pink slip on tomorrow. There's probably going to be some head coaches that's going to be interviewing for jobs. Obviously, 2 that's probably on top of the list is the Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn as well. So those names are going to probably be at the top of a lot of teams' lists to interview for their openings. Jonathan Estrada says the offensive coordinator for the Texans, Bobby Slowick. You think he's? Yeah, I've heard whispers that he might be. Yeah, get the pink slip too. Yeah, Jonathan, I've heard that. Yeah, I've read a lot of Texans fans like they sick of him. They ready for him to go. So he could be the next one to go. We'll see once these, if the Texans are one and done in the playoffs, we definitely will see that. Jonathan said he needs to go, to be honest. I hear you, Jonathan. So again, those are some of the names that's probably going to be on the hot seat. Again, I think that, again, you're going to have a couple of coaches that's probably going to garner interest, but the longer their teams are in the playoffs, the teams can't not really talk to them until they made some new rules now how teams can interview head coaches that's still, coordinators and stuff that's still in the playoffs. It's a whole new way that they can do it. They can do like Zoom interviews and all that stuff, but they can't do in-persons, and they got to wait a certain time before they can do that. So again, that's the wrap, man. That's a wrap for today. Again, we got NFL games kicking off here in an hour. We still got some teams jockeying for the playoffs. But again, who's your favorite? And I want to know, Jonathan, who's your favorite right now? If you had to pick one out of the NFC and AFC, who would you pick to make it to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans? Who would you pick? I'm going to say my pick. I'm not picking anybody, but I know who I'm rolling with, right? Y'all already know who I'm rolling with. I'm rolling with that green and gold out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field. We rolling with the green and gold. We're gonna be on the road. Most likely we're probably gonna be in Philly. That ain't gonna be an easy game. Jonathan says Bills versus Lions Super Bowl. Wow, I hear you. So no 3-peat for the Chiefs. No 3-peat for the Chiefs. It's a wrap. Okay, I got you. And the Lions. Okay. All right. I like that's okay. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see if that happens. But again, it's going down in New Orleans. Again, wild card weekend starts next weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And I can't wait. This is my time of the year. I kind of get sad too because now the NFL season is somewhat winding down. So I kind of get a little bit of sad because that's pretty much, I'm an NFL and I watch the NBA. I really don't watch the NBA until pretty much to after the NBA All-Star game. I really don't really start paying attention to it. So green and yellow, that's right. Yep. Now a dream Super Bowl, Jonathan says Texans versus the Lions or the Packers. Okay. How many starters are injured on Lions defense? Oh, you know what? Third eye, blue eye? I don't know, but I know they got a few out. I know they lost the nose tackle, the defensive tackle. They lost him for the year. I think one of the starting DBs is out too. So I don't know actually how many on defense. Someone asked, who's your favorite NBA team? I'll be honest with you, I don't have a favorite NBA team. My favorite NBA team used to be the Chicago Bulls because I'm an MJ fan. Always have been, always will be. So I like players now. I don't really have a favorite NBA team. My favorite players to watch in this present day NBA is Anthony Edwards with the Timberwolves and Ja Morant with the Grizzlies. Those are my two favorite NBA, and Kyrie Irving with the Mavericks. Those are my three favorite players to watch in this current NBA. I think those guys, I think they just, they got it for me. The eye test, that's what it's. Alex and Azolan. I'm not sure. Third eye, blue eye, because you must be a Lions fan. I'm not sure if he's back or not. But I'm definitely going to check injury reports after I get off here and get ready to watch some of these games at noon. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on TikTok. I appreciate chatting with you guys. You can catch me here every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. talking some sports. Oh, Lions or Vikings? Did I pick? Oh yeah, I did pick. I picked the Lions to win this game tonight. It's going to be a tough one, 27-21. So we're going to see if I'm right or wrong. But you can catch me here every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. And actually, in the new year, I'm going to probably start doing some more live stuff, especially on Fridays. I'm going to start calling it Freedom Friday, where we talk sports, whatever, anything. I'll pop in and go live, and I'm going to start doing that on Fridays. Be ready for what I said. We haven't been showing up against the Vikings this season, man. But y'all, we're going to see. I think this is definitely going to be playoff atmosphere, and I just think the Lions at home. I think they tough at home, so I just think they're going to win. And nothing against the Vikings. Well, hell, I'll tell you this. Hell, it's something against both of y'all because hell, I don't like y'all anyway. But as a football fan, I have to put my football glasses and get out my feelings and talk from a football perspective, not from a fan perspective. But I think both those teams are good, and I think it's going to be a tough game. But I think the Lions going to pull it out 27-21. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Make sure you click that follow button if you on TikTok if you haven't already. Tap that screen, get them likes up, share this to all your friends as well. Here on YouTube on TFG Sports Media. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle, as well as you can follow me on Facebook at Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportsHustle. You can follow me personally on Facebook, Kendrick Roline Henderson. You also can follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969 and on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. So again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We got some NFL football about to kick off. I hope you all are having a great start to your new year. Again, you can catch me back here next Sunday, 10:30 a.m. You all have a good one. We'll see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.